I think Clark Lee might have a little bit of a team here. They have some weapons on the outside for him or for AJ Swann. Swann is back. Defensively, they got a lot of players back. They've developed really well. Look, it's Hawaii, and there's no reason why Vandy shouldn't go out there and cream them. Now, Vandy, as an athletic department, has been really crappy. Their stadium's not even ready. They're still renovating things. At least they're trying. Vandy has a decent squad, man. They have a decent squad. They could go sub 500. And for them, that's a big deal. Here's the one thing I'm looking for them. If AJ Swann is who we think he may be and could be, man, when you have good quarterback play in college football, like when you have good quarterback play, you win games that you might not supposed to win. With that being said, I'm really keeping my eyes on this one because of a team we just talked about. Man, could they go into Gainesville and beat Florida? Like, can they go into Gainesville and beat Florida? Can they, if their offense is going to do some of the things that people think that they can do with AJ Swann, could they upset a Kentucky and to get closer to that 500 mark? Can they take down a South Carolina? Who knows? Can they finally get to that mark? We find that out. I just want to see what they look offensively. I think Clark Lee defensively will have game plans ready to go. I'm not worried about them defensively. I'm more worried about them offensively. I think AJ Swann does take that next step, and Vandy, people might say, hey, man, Vandy didn't look too bad against Hawaii. And I get it. It's Hawaii, but still.
Yeah, there's only so much that you can really take away from a Hawaii versus Vanderbilt matchup.
I agree.
But if we remember last year and last season, this game was a joke. This game was considered to be, the butt of the joke for the college football week 0 slate. And Vanderbilt comes out swinging and completely demolishes Hawaii on the road at Hawaii. And you talked about, I think, the main thing for me that I'm paying attention to in this game. And I think that we already know that Clark Lee is building a new defensive unit. There's some young bodies that are on this Vanderbilt defense that we're going to get some exposure to. But AJ Swann is taking over this quarterback job. I want to see what he's got in him. Is he going to have as much of a debut as Malik Wright did last year? Is he going to explode onto the scene and have a really big game? And maybe there's one or two receivers that he can have as consistent go-to options.
Swann's a Louisiana kid, by the way.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, a really good close buddy of mine, Hutch Gonzalez, was his head coach at Mandeville.
I didn't even know that. There's so many guys that freaking come out of Louisiana. It's insane.
Yeah, well, specifically receivers. But, I mean, the kid can play, man. The kid can really play.
Yeah, he's got some juice to him. And when he ended up playing towards got a little bit of exposure and opportunities at the end of last season, this could be a big year for him. A year for him to step up. I had placed Vanderbilt at the bottom of my power rankings for the SEC just because they're Vanderbilt. But can they come out firing? Can they be an offensively explosive team? Again, I know that it's Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to take much to beat Hawaii, but we can at least get some glimpses of what they're capable of.
Well, look, in Cherokee High School, where AJ Swann went to, is a pretty good program at developing players. I think he kind of gets overshadowed because he plays in Cherokee, played at Cherokee. But the kid's, like you mentioned, got juice. He can move a little bit. He's got a decent arm. He's moderately accurate. And Joe, they like him a lot. Like Clark Lee speaks about him like he would speak about a really good mid to mid-tier SEC quarterback. I just want to see Vandy good again. I just want to, well, not again, but I want to see them be competitive. How about that? Instead of getting beat by 50, hey, man, get beat by 21. Be competitive. Keep that game close through 2.5 quarters. I think Clark Lee's an amazing dude. I think he's an amazing coach. I just think that they'll be more disciplined. I do think that they've done really well at recruiting and developing lower star talented kids. We saw Alabama go and get their left tackle in Tyler Steen not too long ago. So you look at the development that this team and these players have had under Clark Lee. I just want to see, I do want to see more of that. The one thing that I do hate to bring up. The one thing about this, though, man, I kind of am pulling for Hawaii after what everybody in Maui's going through. Like I'm just like, man, please just come out there with your hair on. Probably a bad choice of words there, but you get what I mean. They're like, come out there with like energy, enthusiasm, wanting to play for something, and you just hate for that. And look, man, they're traveling not only from Hawaii to California, but they're traveling all the way to Nashville. That is a long, long trip. You just really hope that they come out and play with some emotion, man, because that's so awful, like what Hawaii and Maui is going through, man.
Yeah, quick correction on my part, by the way. It's Mike Wright was their quarterback at the start of last season that I meant to reference. But yeah, I think that's an aspect of this that is going to get focused on for this game with the natural disasters and the fires that happened in Hawaii. I don't know the proximity to the university, but I'm sure that there were players on this team that were impacted in one way or another by the tragedy that happened there. And Hawaii is such a unique place where I feel like most of the players at the University of Hawaii come from that region, and it's in such a secluded, far area that everyone bleeds being a part of that program, being a part of and representing Hawaii, those that do decide to stay in the state. It's good for them, I think, that they're getting this spotlight opportunity to play in week 0 again in back-to-back years. And I know that, like, our perspective, we're hoping that Vanderbilt comes out and is no longer the doormat of the SEC and they come out swinging and they're beating the crap out of the non-conference opponents that they have. But at the same time, kind of hoping that that doesn't happen, because it's not, you beat up on Hawaii to that point where you're talking about here. Maybe that's not the best of looks.
Well, I look at Vandy too, and I accidentally exited out of this Vandy offensive stats. Hold on, because I wanted to pull this. I wanted to talk about this and pull this up. So Vandy last year was 5-7 under Clark Lee. They had a 2-6 in conference record. Swann did go. This is the thing for me, Joe. There's one thing that he's got to improve. Okay, he's got to improve accuracy wise. He was 58% last year, but he did throw for 1,274 yards. He had a 10-2 touchdown to interception ratio. But they do run the ball try to run the ball pretty effectively. The thing for me is you talk about Will Sheppard. He had 60 catches, 776 yards last year and 9 touchdowns. Joe, he could be one of those guys. I forget who was the receiver that came out of Vandy not too long ago that got drafted really high.
Oh my God.
Wore like number 80. I forget. I forget.
Jordan Matthews, is it?
Yeah, it was Matthews. That's right. It was Jordan Matthews. They always have, like, every 4 or 5 years a receiver that just comes out of nowhere and does something. Yeah. And look, like I've said, I like Will Sheppard a lot. I've known him a long time. One of my buddies was his head coach at Vanderbilt. He's a tall, really well put together wide receiver. You know who he reminds me of? A.T. Perry a little bit. Same
I can
color,
see that.
Same color, uniform, like they run a lot. I'm going to tell you, one thing to keep an eye on is the weapons that they do have. I know Will Sheppard returns. I know they have some question marks in some other areas, but we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to take Vandy here. Joe, am I pick 'em? I'm assuming that you are as well here.
Do we want to save doing our full pick 'em picks at the end?
Yeah, I guess we can. But I mean, it's week 0 and normally
all right.
we would. But I mean, I'm taking Vandy. And look, if you want to take the 17.5, I think
I'm not taking those points. I'm just.
You really think Vandy's not going to beat them by more than 17.5?
No, I am. But, like, what benefit do I get that in the pick-up? Like, it doesn't benefit me to throw that out there. But yeah, I'm picking Vanderbilt. I mean, Hawaii is not going to travel all the way to Nashville and be in, a great state to play them. That's a long ass trip that they got to make. No, it's Vanderbilt's going to win this game. It's probably not going to be close.